Nice. So we talked about 6 schools, right? Structuralism, functionalism, then psychodynamic, behaviorism, cognitive, and socio-cultural. Very nice. Pardon? No, yet some remains. Yes. So we talked about the 6 schools. Now there are 6 perspectives also. So you'll see that few schools fit into some perspectives. For example, if you look at the structuralism, it fits into biological, physiological psychology. So they look at sensation that we get from the body, right? And then there is something called psychodynamic, interpretation of dreams. This is one perspective of looking at themes. Behavioristic, stimulus and response. Now you can see like physiological psychology, the Wundt and Titchener are there. Interpretation of dreams, Freud is there, Jung is there. Then stimulus and response, Pavlov and Skinner are there. Now this is something that we have not talked about, we are going to discuss it next, humanistic. So it is not a separate school of psychology, this is something similar to socio-cultural, but you will see that it looks at self-actualization, something that has not been touched upon in any school. So Rogers and Maslow are there. Then cognitive, how information gets processed by Neisser. Evolutionary by Buss, right? So 6 perspectives are here. Now we will discuss the perspective of humanistic psychology, and this is gradually leading to positive psychology. So a new stream came up in 1996 or 7, that is called positive psychology, because they found that the traditional Western psychology was only looking at abnormal behavior. So how a normal person will behave, that yet remained to be studied. So they started positive psychology. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So in our country, if you see, in our country we always have a role model since beginning, and we wanted to emulate like him, right? And even if you can't see a role model, you can assume it. So if you look at Yog Darshan, there is something called Ishwar Pranidhan. Ishwar Pranidhan. So what do you essentially mean? So you assume a human being with all good attributes and virtues, right? And try to be like that. So this is just like referring to a natural acceptance. What a complete human being would be like. So we have always been looking at a complete human being. That is our focus in Indian tradition, always trying to be complete, right? And emulating those who are complete. Here if you see, primarily the focus in abnormalities and how to avoid abnormalities. This is the common difference between the two.
When I don't understand what to be normal, when I try to avoid the abnormal, but if I don't know what is normal, I can keep changing the abnormal.
Yes. Yes. So the mean position you don't know, so you move like pendulum from here to here. So that is there. Yeah, so that is there. In fact, when we study the Indian psychology in the next workshop, you'll see how people have always tried to look at a complete being, isn't it? And that has been at the core of our culture, following them. So humanistic psychology is a psychological perspective that emphasizes the whole person, focusing on individual potential, free will, personal growth, and the inherent goodness of human beings. It is often called the third force in psychology after psychoanalysis and behaviorism. So that took a major shift. So the methods in humanistic psychology, non-directive therapy, letting clients guide sessions. So I will not go into too much detail about this, we already had enough in Western psychology, right? So non-directive therapy, open-ended interviews, self-report measures, qualitative research, these are the various methods that have been used in this humanistic approach. So focus is more subjective and experiential rather than experimental and statistical. So if you look at structuralism, it was also subjective and experiential. Then they denied it. They say that no, let it be experimental, statistical, let there be facts and figures. And then they are again saying no, leave aside the experimental and statistical part, talk about the subjective part. So what are the core beliefs of humanistic psychology? So humans have free will. Now there you can see that it was being challenged whether human has free will or not, or human being is always conditioned, right? If you look at the classical conditioning, they are assuming that yes, we are always conditioned this way or that way. Here they are saying that no, you have free will. So that's why it has been called as humanistic. It has become more human. And here also we can see that if I am taking guidance from natural acceptance, I have a free will. I always have the free will. So people are not controlled by unconscious forces, as Freud said, or environmental conditioning, as Skinner said. They are active agents in shaping their lives. So that was a misnomer that whatever we do, it is out of something outside, that is influencing me. No, I do have the free will. It also says that people are inherently good. So they mean to say that everyone has the natural acceptance and they would like to go by that. So given the right conditions, human will naturally grow, heal and strive for their better selves. So that is a major shift in the Western psychology, if you see.
Here it is people are inherently good. It means that genetically it is. Genetically means
innately.
there is no.
Innately.
Innately.
Innately, not genetically. Focus on the present and self-awareness. So emphasis on conscious experience and the here and now, not past traumas or automatic responses. There is a book called Power of Now. Has anyone read it? Eckhart Tolle.
Humans have free will and they are inherently good. Why 6 lakh people are prisoners in India?
They are inherently good, not apparently good. So they are conditioned, but they are.
It's a society, I think, that makes them.
Again, it's not the society. See, society is there around us. I make choices because of lack of right understanding. Let us be very clear. You have to see gradually, basically, this is something to conclude also. The way the West is looking at it, we have to evaluate it. It's not the society that is making bad. It's my meaning that I give to the association, to the sensation, that makes me bad or good. It is my choice, what meaning I associate. One example that we are taking, like the father may be a drunkard and he has 2 sons. One son may conclude that since father is a drunkard, let me drink. One son may conclude that his father made my family a hell, I will never drink. If the father or mother is not maintaining chastity in relationship, the child may feel that let me also not be chaste. The other child may conclude that let me always be chaste because this was the single disturbing factor in the family. So how I associate meaning to the single event, that you have to see. So it's not the society to blame, system to blame, right? It is my lack of competence. And when we do exercise, one also
System is perfect. Our rules are perfect.
No, I am not saying that also. Society is made up of imperfect people, so how can it be perfect? So, no, rules are also, I am not saying perfect. Rules may be wrong also. What I am saying, your natural acceptance is perfect, pure.
Crime against women, crime against small children, small babies. That is increasing day by day, even in India. We are thinking that
Crimes
India
against
a
men is
civilized
also
country.
increasing all the way. Now men are fearing blue boxes because they can be cut into pieces and packed there. In fact, after this movie Drishyam has come and some movie in the south has come, it has become a kind of culture now. Cut people into pieces, pack them and then try to hide them. Murder is becoming like a common thing. People were so much afraid of doing any harm to any human being. Now they are doing all sorts of things. And there are so many reports coming. You see, every 2 weeks we are getting a report like this. Either suicide or murder, right? And then the person hiding the facts. And you may think that if one case is reported, at least 9 cases might be there which are not reported.
Because I think Maybe 77% of literacy in India, the remaining 23%. Maybe.
It's not to do with literacy. It's to do with right understanding. The murder that took place in Nagaland, both were literate, enough literate.
Via media
44?
influences.
Acha. Yeah.
Media influences us.
Yeah. So basically, we are getting conditioned from outside, but it is again my decision to be conditioned. That we have to see.
Bhaiya, in that, not, the West has designed this happiness index and has put India towards the end. But they have designed everything with the materialistic aspect.
Yes, yes. So the index is to be challenged.
Our psychologists should go into some research and publish some rebuttal journals or publications and say Indians
We are having
as
this workshop now, and you have to publish 2 papers every semester. Now go for it. Yeah, in fact, we are trying to design some happiness index. So they have 4 indices, no? So we are talking about harmony. Harmony at the level individual, family, society and nature. They are going to do the 4 indices. And how we can measure harmony at the individual level, family level, societal level, at the level of nature, that you have to make out. Now what they have done, they have put per capita income as the first index. It means only wealth they are counting. Then freedom to choose, freedom of choice. This is manmani, pure manmani. Right? So their indices are to be challenged. We have to make indices in terms of harmony. In fact, these are important tasks to be taken up by the academic community. Why we are having this workshop? Because how to make the psychology humane, we can see the limitation here. If you are not able to talk about the full human potential, you are not able to talk about transformation of human being, then you are just making an appraisal of the current state of the society and making money out of it.
We can collaborate with, now also we can collaborate with psychologists and other faculty.
Yes, sir is there, no? His whole department you can collaborate with. So emphasis on conscious experience and the here and now, not past traumas or automatic responses. This is very important. You see the kind of humanistic approach he is taking. Talk about here and now. Whatever may have happened in the past, I might have forgotten also. If somebody is making me think about it again and again, it may not help me, rather disturb me. Personal growth and self-actualization. The ultimate goal in life is to become self-actualized, to reach one's fullest potential. Holistic view of the person, consider emotions, thoughts, behaviors, values and spirituality as interconnected aspects of a person. If you just look at it, here is spirituality, right understanding part. Then values are here at the level of contemplation and imaging, at the level of desire. Then behavior is here, thought is here, emotion is at the level of feeling. So they are trying to address, but now we have a very kind of clear framework based on which we can address all these concerns, isn't it? So there are 2 key figures here in humanistic psychology, Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. So he has given hierarchy of needs, but there is something like, let me say, many people cite about Maslow hierarchy of needs, but this is not a natural acceptance. This is the way people are living today. This is an appraisal of the current state of being, of the human being. So they first look at the physiological needs like food, water, shelter, then safety needs, security, stability, then love and belonging, relationship and affection, esteem needs, respect, status, confidence, and finally self-actualization, realizing one's full potential.
This one way, I feel it's connected. Why? Our focus is majorly, if we see our diagram, right understanding, right feeling and physical facility. First in the physical facility part, the focus was there. Then we understood it's nothing, then we comes to the feelings part, relationship. Again the feeling is getting settled state.
Yeah. Yeah, so this hierarchy applies to animal consciousness. For animal consciousness, this is fine.
We are operating here.
Yeah.
Focus is to be here.
Yeah.
At least we should know that we are operating here.
Yeah, when we have human consciousness, it will just get reverted.
But we have to transfer the actual consciousness to internal consciousness. We have directly knowledge.
So may
Yeah.
that one is
Yeah. Yeah. No, but what he is saying that people move from here to here, and when we talk about the priority in life, they say that this is the first priority. When this is fulfilled, then this will be fulfilled.
No, he said that unless these basic needs are fulfilled, people will not go there.
Yeah, so that is wrong. What we are saying, if you are able to pay attention to the natural acceptance, you can directly start from here. Because this will never get fulfilled to the fullest without right understanding. See, if we start only from physical facility, I cannot be able to make out the need for physical facility completely without right understanding. So what he is saying, that people, unless they are able to fulfill the physiological needs, they will not go to the safety part. Unless this is ensured, they will not go to the top part. We are not saying this. We are saying the correct priority is right understanding, relationship and physical facility. Okay? Only if you draw attention of people to this particular priority, people are able to change, people are able to transform. So Maslow believes that only after lower needs are met can individuals work towards self-actualization. That is the problem. Yeah.
Hierarchy is true for majority of the cases.
Pardon?
We are seeing in life.
Yeah.
This hierarchy is
Yeah, so people are not living with right understanding, they are living with animal consciousness, so this is applicable to the masses, that is fine. But if you are able to draw attention to the natural acceptance, then this will not be applicable. So it's not that only after the lower needs are met can individuals work towards self-actualization, and there are exceptions also, and that is a criticism also. Like a person becoming a saint, let's say, living one's family.
people say Mahatma Gandhi is an exemption for this.
Yeah. Yeah, take a mic.
Mahatma is Mahatma because he expressed his shortcomings in the book. That's all. So he has given how cruel in terms of sex, but he has expressed it that I have done it in the book. That is why he is Mahatma. That's the point. But this basic idea is that the physiological needs, the word itself is very clear, it's need. It is not surplus. It is need. So if you take the physical, if you go to the hierarchy pyramid, we will see breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion. All these things are needed. Without this, the question is, the next generation of human race will not exist. Without food, so without home, without family, the next generation may exist. In animal nature, as you say. In animal nature, it exists. But the physiological need is that the entire human race will survive and continue to procreate only after this physiological need. So when we apply this right understanding there, I need only 4 idlis in the morning. That's enough. I don't need 10 idlis in the morning. So when you put it in the need level, it is okay. But as R said, yes, it's surplus use is there. Surplus use is there. But this is not want, it is completely a need basis.
Yeah. That is fine, yes. Then there is another theory by Carl Rogers and person-centered therapy. So another leading figure, Carl Rogers, developed client-centered therapy, emphasizing that unconditional positive regard is there, accepting clients without judgment. Empathy is there, understanding clients' feelings deeply. Congruence, therapist's authenticity and openness. Self-concept, a person's perception of who I am. So he believed that when people feel accepted, understood and supported, they will naturally grow. Okay, so if you look at the way it is taking place, fine. If you are accepted, you are understood, you are supported, they will naturally grow. Isn't it? So this is the Maslow hierarchy of needs. So physiological needs, then safety needs, then love and belonging, then esteem, and then self-actualization. And let me say that self-actualization is different from right understanding. For example, one wanted to become a painter, right? Want to do good paintings, but he is trying to do good paintings when all other are fulfilled. So this is somewhat different from right understanding or realization. That is something to be understood. Nice. So this is a comparison of different schools. So we had those 6 parameters on which we are comparing. This is different from that. This is just a summary of all the 6 schools, right? So the founders here, structuralism, Wundt and Titchener, functionalism, James, psychodynamic, Freud, behaviorism, Watson and Skinner, cognitive, Neisser and Miller, and social cultural, if you see, then Gotsky and Bandura. Then the time periods, if you see, late 1800s, so this was founded in basically 1879, the first lab. Then here functionally 1800 to early 1900, then late 1800 to mid of 1900s, behaviorism from 1910s to 1950s, cognitive still continuing, and socio-cultural is still continuing. So the focus here in structuralism was on structure of the mind and consciousness. Here the focus was on purpose of behavior and mental process. Here the focus was on psychodynamic, on the unconscious mind, childhood experiences, internal conflicts and all. Behaviorism, if you see, the observable behavior and conditioning. In cognitive, the mental process of thinking, memory, learning. In social and cultural influences on behavior. Then key methods. So Wundt took the method of introspection. In functionalism, they are doing by observation as well introspection. In psychodynamic, by case studies, dream analysis, free association. In behaviorism, they are doing some controlled experiments for conditioning. In cognitive, they are doing experiments, modeling and looking at computer analogies. Here in social culture, they are talking about the cross-cultural research, observational studies. Then if you look at the psych, how they look at human being. So they are saying that human being is made of basic elements like sensation, images and feelings. Here they are looking at human being as an adaptive tool for survival. The human being is merely trying to survive. Here in psychodynamic, driven by unconscious desires and inner conflict. So this Freud assumed that human being is always filled with inner conflict and then struggling with the inner conflict. Then behaviorism accepts that it is a black box, not exactly clear what is happening inside, so don't talk about it. Focus only on inputs and outputs. Here they are looking at a processor of information in cognitive. Here they are looking at human beings shaped by social context, language and culture. Then the key concepts, conscious experience can be broken down to elements of sensory experiences. Then in functionalism, mental process help an organism adapt to environment, to survive, to procreate. Then psychodynamic, if you look at Freud and Jung, they are talking about id, ego, superego, repression, defense mechanisms. In behaviorism, they are talking about stimulus and response, conditioning, reinforcement. In cognitive, they are talking about schema, memory, attention, problem solving. In social culture, they are talking about the cultural norms, roles, peer influence, societal context and so on. If they look at the human nature, how they look at the nature of human being, so they consider it either neutral or analytical. Here they are considering the nature to be adaptive and purposeful. Here conflict driven, largely irrational. Here malleable and shaped by environment. Here active process of information. Here shaped by external context and social interactions. So the applications would be like understanding the basic structure of thought. Here studying the role of attention in survival. Here exploring a client's dreams and past trauma. Then behaviorism, training behavior through rewards and punishment. Here cognitive, improving learning and memory. In socio-cultural, designing culturally relevant education and therapy. Right? So now a thorough view, right, of the modern era psychology. The 6 schools, and then we have 6 perspectives that we talked about. These are the 6 perspectives. In August, we will have a revisit of UHV then in the post lunch. Yes. Now let me briefly mention the multiple disciplines of psychology as it has come up, how the therapies are being developed. So the biopsychology and neuroscience, this will examine the physiological basis of behavior in animals and humans by studying the functioning of different brain areas and the effects of hormones and neurotransmitters on behavior. So again, this is something biological, so they are just looking at the biologic part, the body part. Then clinical and counseling psychology, these are the largest fields of psychology. Focus is on assessment, diagnosis, causes, treatment of mental disorders. Then cognitive psychology, this field uses sophisticated research methods including reaction time, brain imaging to study memory, language, thinking of humans. Developmental psychology, this is also coming up. There are some courses on developmental psychology. These psychologists conduct research on the cognitive, emotional and social changes that occur across the lifespan. Forensic, these forensic psychologists apply psychological principles to understand the behavior of judges, lawyers, courtroom juries and others in the criminal justice system. Health psychologists, they will be concerned with understanding how biology, behavior and social situation influence health and illness. So now they are saying that most of the diseases are psychosomatic, so they are looking at the psychology part also. Then industrial, organizational and environmental psychology, so it applies psychology to the workplace with the goal of improving the performance and well-being of employees. Personality psychologists, so they study people and the differences among them, right? School and education psychology, how learning takes place in school, effectiveness of school programs, physiology, the psychology of teaching. Social and cultural or cross-cultural psychology, examines people's interaction with other people. Topics of study include conformity, group behavior, leadership. Sports psychology, the psychological aspects of sports or behavior. Fine. So these are various disciplines. Yes. 1 o'clock, na? Pardon? Group photo. Yeah. So before the group photo, takeaways. So the most important approaches or schools of psychology are structuralism, functionalism, psychodynamic, behaviorism, cognitive and socio-cultural. Different disciplines of psychology include biopsychology and neuroscience, clinical, counseling, cognitive, developmental, forensic, health. Yes. Now I have to reflect. So as an assignment, when you go from here, then we have to in fact make that comparative assessment on those 6 counts and the 7th also added up now. We'll in fact share a new kind of framework where you can study more in depth. This is one thing. Second thing, we'll share some more survey forms for you where you can evaluate your personality further. And I had shared one document yesterday regarding the personality. You can read it for yourself and see how it applies to you, right? So you can utilize the psychology, modern psychology for our own development. Nice, thank you. I am still coming after lunch.